Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Appreciate your support. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Shout out to the 19. The 19th? The 19th? Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel before you forget. Before we get going, just a couple of quick things. One, apologies for the last video. I watched that entire thing before I uploaded. The volume was fine, so I don't know if it was an upload issue or what have you, but obviously I took that down. And hey, I guess I was supposed to end up recording a whole new one anyway. So apologies for that. Another topic I mentioned just from a lot of the comments I saw on the video I mentioned it in and the poll I put up. I will be doing a Sunday. Um, I don't know if podcast, I guess if you want to call it that. That's a little long form that'll cover multiple topics, sort of like a weekend review of the WNBA and sort of a preview of the next week. Obviously, for all of you, it'll be Fever centric. So, we'll talk about how the Fever are doing, of course, and how their opponents are doing, especially their upcoming opponents for the next week. But, we'll touch on things like the Rookie of the Year race, especially if there was a shift that week, or, someone like Absolute Citron had a great game, and that type of thing. Maybe, the MVP race, if that's something that's being talked about at the time. And of course, I'm sure it will evolve based on me getting better at it and feedback from all of you on what you like and what you don't like as far as topics. But anyway, I want to get into some stuff about the absolute insane blowout that's been going on since the Indiana Fever absolutely torched, embarrassed, spanked, and put the Chicago Sky in a corner. Now, I know nobody puts baby in a corner, Angel Reese, but that's what they did anyway. And we can't have that. So the WNBA has now decided they're going to go scorched earth in absolutely destroying the Indiana Fever fan base. I am telling you, and I will get to this in other videos because I want to talk about something specific here, but just so you know, they are going to, I promise you, try and move the WNBA All-Star game. I mentioned that in the video that didn't have sound for some reason on that, but we'll get into all that stuff. But I want to talk about some of our favorite people because this is an indictment of the media, and you need to understand what is happening because now this is ESPN, obviously, but I've seen the same stuff from Front Office Sports. I've seen the same stuff from The Athletic. You name the sports media organization, and I have seen them repeat the lie as if it is truth. What lie is that before we get to this, right? The WNBA has issued a statement regarding Fever Sky yesterday. The WNBA strongly condemns ism, hate, and discrimination in all forms. They have no place in our league and society. We're aware of the allegations and are looking into the matter. They are investigating you. They are investigating Caitlin Clark fans. They are investigating Indiana Fever fans. Why? No reason at all. The impetus for this, what started this was a lie. It has been debunked. It was an accusation made by someone who did not even attend the game. And and the WNBA is running with it to investigate you. And I promise, for those who are like, oh, well, that sounds good, Fever fans, you are extremely naive about what is going on. I'm sorry, apologies. I'm not upset with you, but it's that type of attitude that has put us in this position. Because I promise you, there is nothing to find. And when they find nothing, because this is what so many of you are expecting from what I've seen, that there's going to be some sort of apology issue to the Fever and the Fever fans, and things are going to change. That will not happen. They will just ignore the fact that they found nothing, and they will move on to the next thing. Have you not been paying attention to almost every single situation like this that has reached national news over the last number of years has been a hoax, and there's never been an apology, whether it's Bibble Wallace, Jesse Smollett, the volleyball player for Duke against Brigham Young, for which the basketball coach at South Carolina, Dawn Staley, decided to put her big you-know-what into that and say, oh, well, we're not going to play that team. And, of course, was there anything? No, it was a lie. Was there an apology from the player? No. Was there an apology from Dawn Staley? No. Was there an apology from Duke? No. There never is. There never will be. They will move on to the next lie. That is what they do. The WNBA is not a professional basketball league. It is a club. It is a social club, and it used basketball as an excuse to have their socials. And the dime was put on the NBA. It was put on the NBA players to fund their parties. That is what it's always been. It does not want real basketball fans. It has never had real basketball fans, and it has never needed real basketball fans. And you can see, a lot of people are not too thrilled with this. Look, we got somebody who's actually going to the gov and saying, investigate these people inciting ist crap, fake news that didn't happen, along with the WNBA for their selective policies. They don't care the Black Fever players get called all these words. Yeah, people have been nasty going after Dewana Bonner. By the way, it was the Chicago fans that did all the nonsense about Alyssa Thomas and the domestic issues and so forth. The Fever run by idiots, then they fall for the fake narratives because the Fever supported this, which is a whole nother issue we'll probably get going. I know where this is going. All Fever games will be played in entirely empty stadiums other than high-level security for the opponents. We can't have fans rooting for them. WNBA is a garbage product. Clark is the only reason anyone watches. Yeah, absolutely true. And so here you go. I think that is something else. That is something else. Bear with me. I've got like a million things open to see if we can get to the right one. Oh my goodness. I'm striking out, folks. And it is finally, here you go. This is where the initial accusation came from about things that were being screamed at the Fever game. Now, remember, there were 17,000 people there. It was televised. So you had all those mics and all those media people. Everyone's filming everything nowadays with their phone, right? And there is zero proof. And as you can see, hey, look, this is who started the ball rolling on the lie that Fever fans were yelling slurs toward Angel Reese and making, by the way, monkey sounds, which will be debunked as well. Posts are protected. So they started this whole ball rolling. The WNBA ran with it. It had already been debunked before the WNBA came out with its statement. That's how disgusting this is. But I want to talk a little bit about some of this stuff. We're going to listen to Stephen A. And this is absolute garbage. I have nothing good to say about this man ever at this point because this is disgusting for him to run with this. ESPN should be ashamed of themselves. I know it's impossible for them to do that. Stephen A. should be ashamed, but he has no shame. But we're going to take a listen to this nonsense.
I'm the elder statesman of the crew here compared to this crew because I'm older than all of y'all, all right?
Combined.
And obviously obviously as a black man, I've had certain experiences. As black people, we've had certain experiences, but black men, we speak to it on a more intimate level in certain respects. I applaud the WNBA for their statement. Got no issues with it. I get where both of y'all are coming from. Y'all 1,000% correct. I don't disagree with a syllable that y'all have uttered.
We're going to get to those syllables in a moment because I have that. But I want you to understand, listen to everything I just said, and Stephen A. applauds it. He applauds the lie. He applauds the smear. He's happy that the WNBA is going after innocent people. This is totalitarianism, folks. This is absolute nonsense. The WNBA is trying to smear an entire fan base with zero proof because it's the accusation that's so serious. So that's all we need. Wait till the Fever fans start coming up with some accusations that are serious, WNBA. Like people are talking defamation, class action lawsuit. So you might want to back up just a little bit.
But I'm not as bothered by this as most people. Let me tell you why. I'm not bothered by this because I love when folks are stupid enough to show themselves.
Yeah, my man, you look in the mirror because you are stupid and you are showing yourself, Stephen A. I'm just saying. Same thing from Monica and Hey.
You see, what we need to worry about. Remember, as they say, you can have cats in sheets. We see them coming. And they said, no, just take off the sheets. Some folks said, just take off the sheets. We just going to put on a suit and infiltrate and look like everybody else. So ultimately, a wider scope of people can be contaminated because you don't know who is who. See, that's what's been happening in a lot of situations. And a lot of times when we see stuff politically, sports-wise, corporate-wise, etc., what we've missed along the way is fall back and let people show you who they are.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're lamenting, and one of the things that concerns me at times is sometimes we don't need to lament it. We need to pause, stand still, chill, and let them come. Because the more you show who you are, the more you're going to find out who really, really stands with us and who really doesn't. The WNBA stands with us because they put out that statement immediately. The NBA would stand with us because they put out that statement easily. You'd have players, male and female, coaches, assistants, executives, team owners, etc. Who's going to speak up? Who's going to be quiet? What you going to say? And why don't you say more? Or why are you saying less? These kind of things edify us and positions us to fight the real fights.
Stephen A., you are doing this is, I swear, I think the psychological idea of projection was invented for Stephen A. Smith. Because guess what, Stephen A.? You are showing us exactly who you are. You are the problem. You are the one that doesn't like certain colored people, my friend. You are embracing and happy for a smear campaign against millions of innocent people simply because what? They don't look like you? I mean, is that what it is? But of course, that's not true because I know a lot of them do look like you, and they're getting called the worst things you can possibly imagine simply because they are Caitlin Clark fans, and they're getting called those things from your people, Stephen A. And I don't mean that in a skin issue, but the people that think like this. Because let's face it, there are a lot of people who look like Caitlin who think like this as well. And that's what's so bizarre because Caitlin Clark's fan base is incredibly diverse. I know because I talk to a lot of them. There are fans of Caitlin Clark that love the current president. There are fans of Caitlin Clark that hate the current president. There are fans that look like Stephen and fans that don't, and vice versa. The one thing they have in common, or well, Caitlin Clark, obviously huge Caitlin Clark fans, but they also love basketball. They're sports fans and they love basketball and they love watching Caitlin Clark and they don't want any of this in their sport. And I get that they just want to, well, we just don't give them fuel. We don't respond. No, because you know what? When you don't respond, it gets like this and it gets worse and it gets worse because I promise you they want that All-Star game moved. I promise you they want the Fever to turn on their fans. They want Caitlin Clark to turn on their fans. They want, because it's a player safety issue, the Indiana Fever to be playing in front of nobody for their home games at Gamebridge. If they can push it to that, I promise you they will push it to that. Here you have the WNBA investigating something that we already know didn't happen, coming from someone who wasn't at the game, who then immediately protected their posts. And if I can find it, um, I want to play this for you before we get going. I was going to do this in another video, but it is relevant. And as you can see, this person tagged me in this, sent me this to me and said, please watch and use. This is the source because that was the accusation. That was like the main accusation, I think, that got it going. And there were, a whole bunch. This is the source of the monkey noises that people were talking about. So we're going to play this. Hopefully you can hear it. But they point out a person that throughout this that is right there. So you've got, she sits, you can hear the noise. She sits behind the commentator desk. And you hear it like, and just this goes through game after game after game where you hear that same noise. And this is what it was when they were with Angel Reese, and I think when she was shooting her free throws. And there was a ton of booing, of it, just booing.
At 61%.
There was a ton of booing of Angel Reese in her free throws. She missed the first one. That led to a ton of cheering. The exact same thing you've seen millions of times at millions of sporting events over and over again. And then, of course, Dave Portnoy, they're saying, was doing that when there is zero proof of anything. You have people, and I don't want to go through it all because there's so much. If you're tired of this, I'm sorry, but I warn you, I probably will do another video too because more and more keeps coming out. And I think it's a really, really important story because it speaks a lot to the future of the WNBA and what's going to happen. Because people are getting tired of this. People are getting tired of being called these things for no reason at all. No reason at all. They're getting completely smeared by a league filled with disgusting people. I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but I'm seeing it with my own eyes. I keep saying there's a likability issue. Am I wrong? Really? Obviously it's not all of them, but we have a serious problem here. And to Steven's point, I think if I can find the right one, we have Monica here, Monica McNutty, who's not qualified for this job. So please explain to me how she has it. I don't think she has it in her to be Joy Taylor.
Greeny, I would say I think folks that truly love the game of basketball need to be mindful. You need to respect the humanity of these women, whether you are Team Clark or Team Reese, although you can certainly be both, right? The aftermath, the fact that the WNBA has to put out a statement because of racist comments and unsafe conditions toward Angel Reese. Like, I just want people to be mindful that whether you like it or not, anytime something happens with the two of them, one is automatically put as a victim and one is automatically put as someone who needs to be saved, when in reality, both are excellent competitors. They both...
Monica McNuck, you disgust me. You know that? I know I've used that word a few times, but in case you can't tell, I'm kind of fed up with this crap. Again, we have a statement by the WNBA that they're investigating something that we already know did not happen. And here you have Monica McNutt on a huge platform, reporting as if it is a true thing that we know happened. That is disgusting. That is irresponsible. That is a fireable offense. And she has no business being on the air. She has no business covering the WNBA ever again. If ESPN is a serious sports organization, we will never see Monica McNutt again. Ever. Deep breath. We're going to go with one more thing. I know this is getting long, but this is really important because, and I don't have a clip of her, but obviously Tiny Shanae is in agreement with all of this. Okay. So let's take a little listen to what she had to say when it came to what happened to Sophie Cunningham, the girl without the dark tan, where the situation was reversed, although it was actually a dirty play, unlike this, which was a regular foul that everybody in basketball knows was a regular foul. So let's take a list, because here's another person I'm thinking has no business covering the WNBA, has no business being on ESPN, is incredibly irresponsible. Let's see what she has to say about that.
The Mystics rookies are going to be impactful. It reminds me a lot of when I came into the WNBA with the Connecticut Sun, because we had like 3 rookies coming in at the same time. Now, really unfortunate for Georgia Amore and her injury. But Kiki Iriafen, obviously, you guys know that's my little sis. She's going to thrive. I think she has the freedom to continue to expand her game, but also we clearly saw she got the confidence. You know what I'm saying? Sis, her first game, she became a meme. Legendary. Sonia Citron.
You hear that? She is happy. Let's remind you, this is what she is happy about. That is not, they got tumbled up. That is a judo hip toss. That is a judo throw from Kiki Iriafen on Sophie Cunningham. And you just heard Shanae, who now has no credibility whatsoever, because we know exactly, Stephen A., she showed us who she is, my friend. She showed us who she is. And there is nothing good about her. She made it very clear where she stands with regard to certain qualities people have. Disgusting. Did I mention disgusting? This is disgusting. No business being on ESPN. ESPN needs to go. I'll tell you what, they're going to come after me. By the way, just so you get an idea of what's going on, the WNBA, after they announced that whole Stop the Hate campaign, like 2 days later, I got a notice from YouTube, a video I did a month ago where I included 6 seconds of Angel Reese saying "Me Too." By the way, I hope I can show that Monica clip. There's music in the background. That's always tricky. But I got a month after I put that video up, that I had 6 seconds of Angel Reese, that very end part where she's going to look back in history in 20 years. And, it's not just one person. It's Me Too. Y'all watch it because of Me Too. 6 seconds, which is legal to do, by the way. But I got a complaint, and I mean, it wasn't much, thankfully. I'm not one of those huge YouTubers where it would have been like, oh, there goes my mortgage payment for the month, but it got demonetized a month after the fact because a copyright complaint was filed a month later, right after WNBA wanted to do the Stop the Hate campaign. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I know this actually got really, really long, much longer than I wanted to. I know I kind of didn't really get worked up, but I wanted to make sure my passion came through because I'm so tired of this. You all must be tired of this. All you want to do is watch Caitlin Clark play basketball, and somebody's got to push back because otherwise it's just going to continue. I promise. They've got a plan, they've got an agenda. They want you gone. They want all the money. They want all the good things that come from Caitlin Clark being in the league, but they don't want to deal with anything else. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm proud of myself for keeping this PG. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate it, and I will talk to you later.